Greetings, fellow humans. My name's Alistair Lord, and I am the Renaissance Yorkshireman. I'm here today to interview Eva Larsen, and we're here in Thailand at Garaway Eco Village, and we met here. Now, I'm interested in talking to Eva because she was born in Poland, grew up in Poland. At the age of 12, her parents relocated with her and her family to Norway, and then she started learning Norwegian. And then later in life, she became an English speaker as well. So we'll talk to Eva a little bit about her life. So Eva, you're born in Poland, you grew up in Poland. When you were 12 years old, you moved to Norway. So tell us about your experience of learning Norwegian when you first went to Norway.
So at the beginning it was really difficult because I did not learn much English in Poland. So when I first came here, everything was really new to me, and I had to learn two languages at the same time, so it was really challenging. And okay.
So when you started studying English in Norway, you had very little experience from Poland, but also you were getting English to Norwegian, and your Norwegian wasn't very good. Is that right?
Yes. So like I was saying, I was not speaking English when I came to Norway, so I first had to learn Norwegian, which put me behind everyone else in class, and even from before they were much further than me in English. So I never really dared to talk English, and I mean, because of my Polish dialect, I guess my pronunciation in English comes automatically out different, which was as well a big issue, I'd say, because when we had projects in class, I would pronounce things a little bit different, and I always felt like I was bullied for that. So,
right. Was that your pronunciation in English or in Norwegian? Or both?
Both, but mostly in English, because there's so many dialects in Norwegian, so people don't really care how bad you talk Norwegian. But the moment you're talking bad English, then everything is oh, this kid doesn't speak English, So yeah. Right.
So with learning Norwegian, was there a breakthrough moment that you really felt that all of us that you could be fluent in Norwegian?
Yeah, it was the year after I came to Norway, because the first year I started in a class with a lot of kids that were in the same class for many years together, and the year after the classes got mixed up and new kids came, and it was just everything was so new again, but in a better way, because my confidence grew, and I had so many new people to talk to. And I mean, it didn't really took me 1 year to learn Norwegian. I think actually it was much shorter than that, because I was really good with observing and listening. I didn't speak Norwegian at all, so I learned a lot out of observations.
Right. So your listening skills in Norwegian were very good, but maybe your speaking skills were not so good.
Yes, exactly. But in the beginning, it was kids was raising up and then going one place, and I had to do exactly the same, because I had to just follow what's going on. And I remember there was this one trip where we disappeared for 1 week, and my parents just got the letter, just bring a sleeping bag, rain jacket, some couple of things, and I had no idea where I'm going. I had no idea what we're gonna do. I didn't understood anything. And alarm rings at 5 o'clock, everyone gets up, I get up, and I mean, it was just constant following the things that other people were doing. So the first year I felt that a lot of people were mean to me, especially my classmates.
Kids can be mean.
Yeah, they were actually very mean to me. They were talking that they didn't want to be in a group with me, and they thought that I didn't understood anything because I wasn't really responding much, because I don't know, I was just not included and afraid. So my breakthrough came when the year after, when I started a new class, and everything just felt so right, and I just was I was doing it, and suddenly I was I am doing it. And even my parents at some point were whoa, you speak Norwegian. Right. So everyone got surprised, including me.
Right. So what it was really, from what you've said, is you had a year where you didn't you couldn't integrate because the
Yeah.
kids wouldn't accept you, but you were listening a lot, learning a lot from just watching what people were doing. And then when you were in a new class,
Yeah.
and you already had the basics and you know, presumably some speaking ability,
Yeah.
and the kids were accepting of you, then it was much easier. And then after that, it was like
Yeah, exactly.
natural.
And as well with the culture, it's really interesting because Polish culture and Norwegian culture is extremely different in
Right.
school. Like the first day of the school in Poland, you have to come in a white dress, you know, you have to like, and it's not even like the beginning of the school, it's just like people are gathering together and the teachers are talking and you're sitting there and listening. Like you feel the really big difference between teacher and the students. And I remember my first day in Norwegian school when kids were just painting their nails and calling teacher by their name, you know, everything was so different from what I was used to. So I felt, I don't know, it was really, really different.
Culture shock.
Yeah, so yeah, language, culture, like everything. So when the second year started, I felt like I know this, I can this, I know the culture more, I feel more safe, and at this point I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I did.
Good,
So
good.
that was very interesting experience.
So now, I mean, you're bilingual Polish and Norwegian. So would you say Norwegian's your first language or Polish is your first language, or it depends on the situation that you're in?
Actually, Norwegian is my first language, I'd say now. Like, I spent exactly half of my life in Norway and half of my life in Poland. But since I came to Norway, I had like Norwegian friends. I don't really have Polish friends, so
Right.
I feel like I speak much more Norwegian. Like
Right.
my boyfriend now is Norwegian. I never had like Polish boyfriend. Always Norwegians. Like it was always like my culture. The moment I discovered the differences between those cultures, I felt like I stepped right into the Norwegian culture. So everything I do, I think, I study, everything is like in Norwegian. So I'd say Norwegian is my first language now.
Right. But if you're talking with your mother, father, or your brothers, you speak Polish, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But I find it really difficult. Like that's when I have to like sit down and like I could not like, just like talk with my mom right now. I would have to like think about what I'm going to say and like really focus on it. It's like the language that you don't really talk often
Right.
in, but like have to focus to do it. But like the moment I do it, my brain switch into the Polish language and I remember much more, but there is still many words that I haven't been using like in years that I completely forgot and just don't know their meaning.
Right, right.
So it happens too.
So with English, you'd done a little bit in Poland, but when you came to Norway, at first it was tricky because you were having to go through Norwegian and Polish to get to
Yeah.
the English. So, you know, once you were confident in Norwegian, you were studying Norwegian to English. So with English, when was your breakthrough with English?
It was when I was 18 or 19, I'd say, because like I was saying, I did not really speak English at school because I got bullied a lot.
Right.
And yeah, I just didn't really speak that as much as the other kids did. So when I started my internship as a chef, that's when everything got more funny because I went from not speaking, almost not passing English in class, till only speaking English at work.
Right.
Which was very interesting because I mean it wasn't only that I didn't want to speak to, like I didn't knew the language, you know.
Right.
So I remember it was so funny when they told me like, okay, go to the fridge and bring cucumber.
Right.
And then I ran to the kitchen, pull my phone and Google cucumber and then put on image just to see what they are talking about,
Right.
you know. So this is my way of learning English.
So when you were doing your internship as a chef, the staff were not Norwegian. This is why you were speaking English.
Yeah, I
Right.
forgot to say, like, most of the people I worked with were not Norwegian. They were like either from Spain, Mexico, Argentina, Italy, but like never Norway. Like,
Right.
I worked as a chef for quite some years and I could count them on my hands, you know, how
Right.
many Norwegians it was in the kitchen.
Right. Right. So in Norway, most of the catering staff are foreign workers.
Yes.
Right. So obviously then the lingua franca is English. So you've been travelling for how long now?
Soon 4 months.
4 months. And like in that time, you know, obviously you're going to meet very few Norwegian people.
Yes.
So you're speaking English a lot of the time in Thailand. And what other countries have you been in since you've been traveling?
Many. I mean, we've been to Spain, Italy, Greece, Netherlands. Now we are in Thailand, and we are going to Malaysia. We're going to most likely Vietnam, Australia, Japan, America. So we're gonna like travel the world.
Travel the globe.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Great.
Yeah.
And do you feel that your English has improved in the last 4 months, or it's more or less the same, or?
No, I'd say it improved, and what I really need is the confidence to talk, because like when you don't know certain words, I mean, then I am like this, that I feel like insecure to talk about a topic, because I feel like, okay, I can't really talk about it because I don't know half of the words I wanted to say. But like in the group that we are with now, which I really love, I feel so confident, and like
Right.
I know there's one thing I don't really know much about, but I know I will get like help, and
Right.
I will like get through it without being like judged, and it helps.
So there's
me
a
to-
nurturing environment with the
Yes,
language
yes,
rather
yes,
than
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it helps me a lot, and I'd say it's improved my English a lot,
Right.
for sure.
And here, actually, I mean, out of I think 8 of us, I think I'm the only native English speaker. But I mean, it's not a problem. Everyone communicates
Yeah.
pretty well in English.
And like some people know English really good, and some like even worse than me, I'd say. But it's still like so easy to communicate with everyone, and I think it's so funny because those that are like good and a little bit worse, they always find the confidence to talk about things, and I think it's really amazing how we help each other as well to communicate.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And are there any like peculiarities of grammar from Polish or Norwegian that are completely different from English, or anything that in English is particularly difficult for you to learn?
I'd say that they all really different from each other, but especially Polish from Norwegian and English. And I'd say that Polish actually is the most difficult language from all of them.
Right.
And Norwegian is the easiest. So there's a lot of words that we use in Poland to describe like one thing, while in Norwegian it's like 1 or 2.
Right.
So I think it's much easier to speak in Norwegian than it is in Polish, mostly as well because of this. But if there's any grammar differences, there for sure is, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know so much. Okay, like when you have future, present, and past. In Norwegian we have like a third one, but
Right.
it makes things so much more easy than it is in Polish. That's why I'm so confused to talk about it.
Right. So past, present, future, and something else in Norwegian?
Yes.
What? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go into that,
Right.
because I can't really explain it. Like, it's really easy for me to talk about how I experience stuff, but when it comes to grammar, I think it's a little bit more difficult to explain, because like I never got like paper in front of me that was saying this is the difference. I always learn language just by
Speaking.
it,
Right.
doing it, and that's how I know the difference. I know it's there, but I can't really put the finger on what
Okay.
is the you know what I mean.
I do know what you
Yeah.
mean. I do know what you mean. I mean, I can explain it, but that's because I'm a language. I
Yes.
was a language teacher
Yes,
for a
it's
very
much
long
easier
time.
for you to,
But
understand.
I mean, when I was younger, I mean, until the age of 20 or 21, I couldn't have told you the name of any of the tenses in English, really, because I'd never studied any English grammar.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
only when I got 21 and I started studying Spanish that I learned my English grammar through the Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for talking to me, Eva.
Thank you.
It was very enlightening. Thank you.